of them catching them out. Shuttle landing safely in the trams. Yeah. Scott and Hope still up by two. This game under the watchful eye of Kelvin Martin, who's an internationally certified umpire. He's been to many of the large games, the Olympics, Thomas and Uber Cups, Commonwealth Games. He's been all over the world officiating badminton, and we're fortunate to have him as a local umpire, one of the best badminton umpires in the world here with us to officiate at these games. An international umpire for an international arena.
Not wanting to talk at cross purposes and multi-disciplines, but the server in the doubles game is like the quarterback in NFL. What happens when you get up to the service line and you're about to advise your teammate where you're going to serve the ball, and then you realize something and you have to change it? Do you have enough time to make that signal as he puts the hand behind it, as we're seeing here now with Williams?
But that is where now you will hope that the training kicks in, because as your partner, if you signal to your partner that, let's say for instance, you're going to serve low, but then your partner sees a high service, rather than being shocked and saying, okay, that's not the plan, your partner should have the wherewithal to make the adjustment to defensive formation to compensate for that. You know, a little later on, they'll probably share a joke about it and ask one another if they can't remember the signals.
And chances are your opponent may have made a shift, so you would have to make that adjustment, and then your teammate should also pick it up.
Should also pick it up.
Okay.
Good. You have a set plan, but as you rightfully said, if you see your opponent standing somewhere else and you see a more advantageous play, you go for it. You know, that is a common sense thing. If you were going to serve the shuttle to somewhere that would give them an easy win, you definitely don't want to do that. They've come within 1 point now of the lead, 14-15. Ooh, and yes, I see Williams just slapped herself on the leg. They gave her a sitter right back to her, and I don't think she was expecting them to make that particular play, and she was caught off guard and just pushed it into the net. Ooh, and there's the defense of Moyadu. So Hope and Hope and Scott, who have been maintaining an attacking formation for this entire game. I haven't seen them go on the defensive as yet. They've been using the attack well. There again, slightly high serve. You see Hope in quickly. And Hope has been a former national champion in almost every form of discipline of the sport. So she is also quite experienced. Again within 1 point. There we hear Tamisha Williams vocalizing to Moniata Rivera in an attempt to encourage her to retrieve that shuttle, which she did, but she was out of position and the racket angle pushed the shuttle wide of the court. And there again, we have an on-force error there. Trying for a bit too much deception coming in early, but too much angle on that stroke.
Oh, Shari Hope loves her badminton, and she loves winning more. But regardless of the result, she will enjoy the contest.
Yes, I know she does enjoy her badminton, and she has for many years. Yet another student of that institution in Waterford. I hear you mentioning. Not so you have to tell me what that is a little later on. And there we saw them taking that game, taking the first game. But I must say that compared to what we saw at the Nationals now, Rivera and Williams have definitely stepped up their game. At Nationals, they were beaten at lower scores.
Some of the early exchanges here. That one going a little long. Going cross court from Williams, and she didn't quite get the extension she wanted. Forced error. Drop shot. Gone wide.
And there we see clearly the game plan of Hope and Scott, where they are continually attacking what would be the left bottom side of the court, so that the back court of Williams and
Scott
Rivera.
going cross court.
And there it is again.
Will we be right back after this break? Back to the live action where the pair of Hope and Scott took the first game at 21-17 in this women's doubles final against Rivera and Williams.
And these two will be looking to only have to do a minimum of 2 games tonight, as they did in the national championships. And there we have Scott off of a very short, very quick racket speed, putting that shuttle away.
In an area where the recovery will not necessarily be the easiest for her flexibility.
Ooh, I believe that Rivera just faked her partner. She went up for the shuttle, and
the placement of the shot by Rivera was actually right in the area in between Scott and Hope. So you both had to go for it.
Both had to commit to against the shuttle.
And unlike Williams, Rivera doesn't call the who's going for the shuttle.
I believe that stems from her being the younger of the two, so she keeps her cues from the boss.
And I don't want to be wrong, but I can risk doing it. I think Williams was Rivera's coach when Rivera was a youth player or something like that.
She was a mentor. She was one of the mentor coaches who was there, so she would have had a lot of influence, and there is a lot of respect there. Actually, Rivera would have a lot of respect for all 3 of the ladies that she's on the court with, because as juniors coming up, each of these ladies would have had some sort of input in bringing her forward. And finally, there it is. We saw Williams at full extension, just trying to cut off the shuttle. She didn't try anything fancy. Just got a block in there, got it coming down steep enough that Hope couldn't retrieve it. In the younger days, we would hear Hope telling the younger players that when they face her on the court, they have to try not to respect her if they want to win, because they didn't see her as an opponent so much as the mentor and coach on the other side of the court. And she would always encourage them to, don't show me that respect. I want you to play me as though you were playing somebody that you've met for the first time. Of course, that is easier said than done, especially with a player of her caliber. And one of the rare times that Hope was caught flat-footed in backcourt. Williams recognizing that and again just utilizing the block to the net. Now the second time that she's been successful in employing that tactic. Ooh, there went the attack down the center. The first time I would have seen Scott and Hope in a defensive formation, and Rivera took the shuttle down the center of the two of them, and they looked at one another, a bit of indecision as to who shuttle it was that belonged to. Ooh. Excellent
overextension there.
Yep. But that stemmed from excellent control from Hope. She actually slowed that shuttle down with a slice.
This game being a lot closer than the first one.
Ooh. And there we have the switch again. Ooh. Hope calling that one long and Scott leaving it alone, but it fell in.
Advising her partner to leave it.
And this is the first time that the pair of Rivera and Williams have had a lead, and they're slowly extending the lead. I don't think that. Ooh. And that would be the second or third shuttle that they've won the point in that mid-court area. They've actually now gotten to the lead first. We are seeing a clear game plan developing here, coming from Rivera and Williams. They seem to be utilizing the fact that Scott and Hope refused to switch from the attacking formation, and now they're taking the shuttle, switching the shuttle from the left to the right side of the court, looking to win their points in the mid-court area.
As we look back at some of the key moments in this second game, while the court is being cleared, Scott and Hope backing in the yellow. Williams catching the tram line. Hope going cross court.
That is the area that they have been punishing now. Let's see if they can continue to mount the attack on that particular area. Hope and Scott have moved away from their game plan that won them points in the first game, which they attacked the back court.
And back to the live action now with Moniata Rivera on service.
There's the raw power of Scott, and as you said earlier, don't expect that these girls are going to hit each other any less hard than the guys. Williams, the singles champion, says to them, I have one of those as well. Put it up in the mid-court, and she capitalized on it. 12-90 score. Ooh, excellent movement and speed there by Scott. Punks in on that service, pushing the shuttle flat and fast across court. Ooh, on force error. Scott saw both players deep, and she is admonishing herself because she saw them deep, and her intention was to come in and push the shuttle across court. But she was just a bit late on the shot. That one's sailing wide.
Hope deciding that the shuttle has been beaten sufficiently, goes for a new one.
Of course, with any deviation in flight, the players can ask for a shuttle change, and these guys are so in tune with what is going on that they will recognize instantly if that shuttle is defective in any way and get it changed. Ooh, lovely rally. Lovely rally. And there we saw Williams in total control of that one. She told Moniata to go for it. She switched it all her own, and then when she saw the end, she told Moniata to simply hit.
Racket twisting in her hand there, trying to execute a gentle little lob into the open wide area of the front court, but not successful in that.
And this will be the first time we've seen them under some pressure, the team of Hope and Scott. Ooh, and just as I was about to say, you hear Williams telling Rivera, "Don't force it." You know, the young and excited player seeing the big shuttle and wanted to put it away quickly. Ooh, and there is the class of Hope. Drive that hits the net and trickles over, and there's nothing you can do about that other than acknowledge it was a good shot and move forward. Mm.
She must have excellent vision.
Ooh.
The execution wasn't there on this time, but managed to bring it close, 14-16.
Hope definitely stepping up her game here. We've seen a lot more movement from her. We've seen a lot more movement from Hope. She just trying to single-handedly take this game away from Williams and Rivera. Ooh. And that one was out by about a quarter of a mile.
More length than downward.
Way more. Lovely rally. Excellent control displayed by both players in the end, coming down to a simple on-force error again by Scott. We need to just pull apart on one side and just have a settling word with her. I believe that is what Hope is
14.
I believe that Hope will now have a settling word with her because they really need to just get back to what they were doing in that first match, which was just simply be consistent and allow the opponents to make the on-force errors. And that will definitely now put a pep in the step of Williams and Rivera.
So, the pair of Williams and Rivera in the black tops against Hope and Scott in the yellow, battling back from losing the first one, getting the benefit of that trickle over the net, but that was one of the few times when things went right. The miss hit there from Scott's racket, the error into the net, and we'll be right back after this break. welcome back to the live action now. This women's doubles final has been taken tantalizingly so to a third and decisive game. And already it's fast and furious, Ryan.
Yes, it is. And there we see Rivera and Williams drawing first blood. And they should have a pep in their step. When they, in the last encounter against this team, they didn't get a third chance. Hope and Scott were dominant from beginning to end. Now we've seen the pendulum swing both ways in this game. Ooh, and now Scott stepping it up. As I said, there was definitely that discussion between Hope and Scott, because now we see Scott stepping up her again and taking control and charge at the net. An unforced error by Williams. Williams and Rivera ranked 465 in the world. Scott and Hope have not been playing together internationally.
Well, I was just going to ask you if that's a doubles ranking or their...
That is their doubles ranking.
Okay.
Hope had taken a break from the international arena, so she would have been playing with Scott. So currently they don't have a ranking, but I would love to see her back out on the international arena. I'm certain that she would be able to achieve some great things.
Slightly unsighted by our partner there.
Just being blocked slightly by your partner. And these are the matches that you love. Every match so far at these championships have been quite exciting. And here again, we have no champions being pushed by the challengers once again into a three-setter scenario. And I personally like to see champions being put under a little bit of pressure, because it keeps them on the top of their game as well. I don't like to see champions just continually rolling over the opponents. I believe that they need to have that constant challenge in order to stay at the top of their game. Oh, she received the command, and in drawing Scott into the net, Rivera was able to see her coming and push that shuttle flap and pass her into the backcourt. Score is locked at 5. Ooh, lovely rally. Lovely rally. We saw the rotation coming off of Williams and Rivera. Scott and Hope stuck to the plan, saw the opening and capitalized on it, pushing the attack.
All works and executes really well when the communication is there between the partners.
I think Williams had a momentary lapse there. It was her shuttle, and she said go to her partner, but immediately on recognizing it, she went for the shuttle, but it was a bit late. Another excellent rally. Both ladies demonstrating drives and control of the net. Ooh, Williams going across court, just refused by the top of the net. Hope and Scott enjoying a 1-point lead at this point, but this is definitely an intense third game. Ooh, just wide by Scott. That locks the scores up at 7. Ooh. Yes, another change of shuttlecock.
Can't help but notice the leopard-like focus and approach that Williams has to her game.
you can see clearly that both teams here have stepped up their game in this third game. Already we've had some very good extensive rallies, both teams, and there goes again. Scott pouncing on that one. She has excellent power, but must control that racket angle before the contact.
The difference in the pair of Rivera and Williams, you can see their emotions and their focus expressed on the outside. With Scott and Hope, it's more like a poker face. You really can't read whether they're on top of the game or not. But at 9 apiece, it doesn't really matter what face you put on. It's about how many birdies you get on and in the court.
That is absolutely correct. Be consistent. Stay on top of your game. Stay consistent. Going into the break, 11-9.
And that's not Scott Van Pelt over there. That's actually Andre Woodbine sitting down on the sidelines. I know that the ESPN have a Where the World is Scott Van Pelt segment, and perhaps they're seeing him here at the BiiG Badminton Championships 2017 on the sideline, as we see the pair of Williams and Rivera battling it out with Scott and Hope. Cross court she goes, forcing Williams to send it wide.
There is the power of Scott coming down the lane.
Sabrina Scott smashing down the line. Almost like synchronized swimming. Another big games event. That's the look back. That's the final stages of this women's doubles. First game going to Sherry Hope and Sabrina Scott at 21-17. The tables were turned by Wanyata Rivera and Tamisha Williams, taking a second game at 21-14. And it's for all the marbles now.
As this is now come down to third game, they've switched sides. So now it's the decider. Now you have to be committed. You have to be focused. And there straight away is the experience of Hope. And as you said, that poker face, you could not tell that she just won a point from if you're looking at her face. Hope means business. That was a very, very good defense by Hope. She was actually at the short service line when Rivera smashed that shuttle. She had very little time to return it. Just like that, they have evened the score. Hope became a one-lady army of one just now. She literally took that game by the scruff of the neck, took back those 2 points, and evened it up all on her own. And there we have once again Hope. Now at this point, at this stage of the game, this team of Rivera, if they're to win, they must recognize that Hope has gone to another level, and if they continue to press Hope, they will not be successful at this point. Even there, that shuttle was right over Scott's head, and you would have seen Hope just sailing over Scott's head in an attempt to clear the shuttle. She has definitely decided that, as they say, if it's to be, it's up to me. She has gone to another level in this game. And that would be the best hope, no pun intended, for Rivera and Williams would be to attack Scott. If they take this shuttle to Hope, the way she's playing right now, they will not. That will not be the best game plan of strategy.
Is there really a weaker player in either of these doubles teams? Is there really a weaker player in either of these doubles teams?
No, all four of these ladies are quite capable. They've all played at the highest levels. It comes down to whose focus is more concrete. And there again, we see Scott now allowing the shuttle to do what we call escorting the shuttle, just turn and watch it go into the court. So right now, although Hope has stepped up her game, it would benefit them for her to just be having that quiet word of encouragement to Scott during these rallies. But again, you see the poker faces. So for coach at this point, I would want my players to be encouraging one another. But they're so in tune with one another. They know their game plan. They know how they play. That may be a disadvantage in that they're not going to encourage one another when they should. Yeah. We see Scott here admonishing herself.
Lift.
Yes. At this stage of the game, that will not help the situation.
So they're battling back.
Williams not ready to receive that one. Had her hand up, so the umpire would allow them to serve over. And there we have Hope again. Finesse. Control. We have something stuck onto the bottom of Rivera's shoe. She indicated to the umpire, so he allowed them to have that sorted out. Ooh. And there we have them pressing the attack. And that time we heard Hope being very vocal. Hope's intensity is unbelievable.
The crucial point of this contest.
She does not want this to go quietly into the night. She is going to fight. And now we see that instead of pushing the attack to Hope, they've now switched the attack almost completely to Scott.
Times like these, you get multiple coaches.
Yes, we have all sorts of coaches. I see a gentleman in the crowd who just used some flash photography to take a photo, and that is a no-no in these competitions, especially at this stage of the competitions in the finals. The use of flash photography, and they now inch 1 point closer to championship. And I can tell you these two will erupt if they win this one. Ooh. Not saying die. Never say die. Hope. I really look forward to seeing her get back into her badminton full swing. Now they have to win 4 points on the stretch.
That's one of them.
That's one of the 4. And again, they've decided to take the attack to Hope, and that will not work out for them in these games. If they want to be champions, they have to get back to what they were doing. Oh, and they switched it to Scott, who fully committed to the shuttle but was unable to retrieve it. And you can see the jubilation on the face of Williams in particular, who was still bouncing around at the back of the court.
And that momentum shift going with Williams and Rivera. Moniata Rivera and Tamisha Williams coming from 1 game down to win the women's doubles finals. Ever there by Hope going into the net. Scott on service, pushing Williams deep, and Hope returning the favor, catching the tram line. Scott pushing this one into the net. Hope going cross court, causing Williams to go into the net. That was a close nature of the early exchanges, but when it was coming down to the final stages, Williams and Rivera forcing that all-important championship point here. And we'll be right back after these messages.